This is gonna be silly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Come on now. Bam bam ba bam ba bam. Scappa dappa dappa dow. Slap my ass. Here it comes. Yeah. Hello, everybody. We, for this episode, wanted to do something very special for a sect of our listeners who DIVOS and I care about very greatly.
So much.
Our auditory listeners.
Our audio listeners, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So we turned out the best outfits that we have had yet for the podcast. I mean, I'm talking rhinestones everywhere.
Everywhere.
Devin has wings, 2 sets like a butterfly.
Yeah, I'm essentially airborne.
It's essentially airborne, yeah. I am actually in what we call double drag.
Yeah. Where
I put on a face of makeup to look like a woman, and then I put on a second face of makeup to look like a man.
And people have been asking, like, Zach, why don't you wear something like a jock strap? And so that's what we're doing.
So that's what we're doing today, just for you, audio listeners.
Yeah, Zach is on all fours, facing where the camera would be, but we wanted to do it for the audio listeners. So for today's special episode, wait, but what about for our listeners without object permanence?
Oh no! I am so sorry. I promise we still exist. Bam! There. Now, if you don't have object permanence, you can still enjoy.
So, audio listeners, this episode is just for you, but for our visual whores that just can't engage with content without any kind of visual representation, it's actually going to be a sticker recap. So I'm going to edit this episode where it's like, if something funny happens, I'll zoom in on the sticker and be like, gasp! Like, one of our favorite references is Spy X Family. And
Shock!
The main character, Anya, is this like 4-year-old, 5-year-old girl. And when something crazy happens, she like makes like a really silly face and goes, shock, gaw. It's like the epitome of anime reactions, in my opinion. It's like so over the top and so goofy. I love it so much. So that's all the visual viewers are getting. There's no new drag look today. It's literally just our stickers and an occasional shock, which audio listeners will post on our socials. So you're not missing out on anything. This episode is just for you. Just for you. We are going to enunciate every word. Observe. Peter Peck. Oh, wow. It's not going well. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now let's do it in cursive. Peter Piper picked a pepper. Pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pepper. A peck of peppers. Now we'll go up at the end of every word. Peter Piper picked a peck Now he went high. I'm gonna go low. Oh, wow. Peter picked a. Oh, that sounds terrible. I didn't like that at all. I'm so sorry, auto listeners. Okay, and to kick off our auditory sensory response mechanism. Is that ASMR? Yeah. What does it stand for? It stands for auditory suck my rectum. Raisins. Okay. I was going to say rectum, but I was like, okay, maybe I won't. I'm glad you went there. Okay. So we're going to open up a beverage for you all right now. Oh! Ah! We almost spilled everywhere. Actually, what I'm drinking here is kind of a funny story. So we were at Coachella this year, and we're like a little bit of a gaggle. I think Zach, who maybe 5 years ago might have just worn t-shirts and pants to a festival, after being around, not as Reed, but just like that's what you would have worn. Oh, no, it's true. Being around the elevated outfits and they keep getting more dramatic. Even you are like wearing something really fun. Would you agree? I would agree with that. Yeah, it was nice when I got into Coachella and I saw like, oh wow, I have a step above, just a little step above. You're elevated. I'm elevated. So we do tend to attract there's like a lot of like brands that go to Coachella or like people doing interviews, whatever. So our group does tend to attract like a lot of attention because we just look fun. And so there was a Celsius truck right by where we like ran into the grocery store every day to like meet up and grab some more alcohol. And the first day we made friends with the representative. Do you remember what her name was?
I do not. It's like Condal. I don't know.
Okay, well, to the representative in front of the grocery store outside of Coachella, right where the shuttle picks up.
Weekend 2, day 1.
And 2. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. She gave us, I think, like 30 to 50 Celsius, and we're still drinking them.
It was insane. That actually, our new roommate who moved in was from her car that she pulled out. Somehow, they show up everywhere.
Yeah.
I was cleaning out my car the other day, and under my seat, I found like 4 of them just sitting there from weeks later. And luckily, because they are incredibly processed, they will never go bad.
Oh, no, I think it's good for you. It says live fit on the can. Like, hello. Can I tell you what's in my trunk right now?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay,
do we have enough time?
Oh, my.
Wait, can I paint the picture first?
Yes, I think that's what we're doing this episode, right? We're painting
I think
pictures
we are,
for
yes.
the audio.
There's been a few times where Divos has asked me to go to their car and her car, pardon me.
Whatever you want to call me. All press is good press.
And I opened
for me.
for me, not for me. And I opened the trunk, and Divas is like, "I need you to find this one boot,
An eyelash."
an eyelash." And it's just like, if you've ever seen the show Hoarders, it's kind of like that.
Oh my god. Okay, so this year it's been my most successful year professionally. I've been the most productive I've ever been, and so I made a list every week of things to do. And I've crossed off everything from that list every week. It's been amazing, really. Except clean the car has been transferred every single week. And it's actually funny because on the list, if I have to push something to give myself crap, I'm like pushed from this week. So the clean the car says push from week of January 1st to 7th. Push from week of January 8th to 13th via week of January 1st to 7th. Push from week of January 15th to 23rd via week of January 8th to 13th via week of January 1st. So it literally, it's not my thing, but my Z-cup boobs are in there. My breastplate are in there. My pink Pony Club festival boots are in there.
There's a robot arm, like a little extender grabber thingy is in there.
Well, that's important.
Oh, I don't think it's not important. It's just in there.
And it's my grandpa's old car, who's no longer with us. Love you, Papa Jerry.
Papa Jerry.
And so there are some things where that I leave in there because I'm like, I don't want to take it out because it was like, he had it in there, and so it has to stay. But
like what?
There is a dog treat for his dog Patch.
Aww.
And it's like, they don't like go, they're also, I don't think, I mean, some dog treats I know nowadays we're feeding them filet mignon, but that's not what Papa Jerry was about. So I think it's probably just one of those like really old, it might literally be like a dried pig ear. Like, I don't fucking know what it is.
It's probably something like that, to be honest with you. Or they got it from like the local local drugstore. It's been in their car for years. I learned recently, I think, that the drugstore doesn't actually necessarily sell drugs. Like, I think what we call the liquor store is actually a drugstore, and a liquor store is like Bevmo. So
you're saying because alcohol is a drug?
No, I'm just saying that's technically how they're classified, I think, or like it's a corner store. Like a liquor store is like Bevmo, like something that only sells liquor.
Yeah.
Four Brothers Liquor, for example, the most wonderful liquor store in the whole world.
Yeah, San Bernardino, shout out.
San Bernardino, base of the Lake Arrowhead Mountain. I think that's technically a drugstore or a corner store, not a liquor store.
You know what's made it into Four Bros that I really love? I'm changing the conversation because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know either. It's okay.
They have these really cool things where they like essentially design a drink with different beverages you can get in a liquor store. So it's like the mango Rita, I don't know. And so they give you 2 shooters and then like a buzz ball or like a little thing of juice, and it's all in this one big cup. And then all you have to do is fill up the cup with ice and then empty all the things that they put in for you. And then you have this like nice drink.
It's really fun.
Which is great because I don't know what to do at liquor stores, to be honest. Like,
no, there's a finite amount of things that I want to buy. It's like a Tall Boy White Claw, a Tall Boy beer that I enjoy, or like a 6-pack of beer. And that's really it. Like all the hard alcohols I've never once touched in my life at a liquor store.
Purpose.
Not on purpose. So it's fun that actually gives you a chance to combine all these liquors that you wouldn't normally.
Yeah, like teaches you. It's like a cookbook almost. No, I'm serious. Because like literally, like I like Blue Moon. Let's talk about our alcohol. I like Blue Moon.
Okay.
I used to like Angry Orchards, but it's a little too sugary for me now.
I also used to love Angry Orchards. I'm a big fan of Sculpin IPAs.
A little something IPAs I really like.
Oh, a hazel something.
I like wheat beers. No, different.
That's different. Yeah, that's different actually.
I also like, if we're going crazy, Mad Dog 50/50, MD 50/50. People call it all kinds of things. We call it Mad Dog. I don't even. Does it even say Mad Dog on the thing?
No, it says MD 50/50. I think so. Mad Dog is, I think, where that came from the MD.
So that's like slang, and that's why people don't. Because I bring it up sometimes. People are like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I think what it might have been is one of our friends maybe was like Mad Dog, and then just kind of stuck. You know, like I think it's.
I love them because they come in glass bottles, and it brings me back to, like, did you ever do the Renaissance Fair in elementary school?
No, I never did.
Or I don't know if it was a Renaissance. No, I think it was. And so everyone had to bring in a craft, and you were given fake currency, and you could go around and exchange your fake currency for whatever craft other people had.
Oh, that is really cute.
So I made those little Mardi Gras bead dogs. Have you ever seen them where you, like, break up the bead and then twist their legs so they come into little dogs? So you can, like, no
clue what you're talking about.
I was going to say I'll pop it on the screen, but this is for the audio listeners, so let me try my best to explain. So Mardi Gras beads are, like, in a circle with little, like, beads, obviously. And you can break them at any point by twisting, and then the bead will snap. So if you take a thing and you leave 1 bead for the tail, 4 for the front leg, 4 for the back leg, 1 for the body, 4 for the head, and 1 for the nose, you can twist it together in a way that it makes a little dog that will sit on your desk. I don't know. It's like,
what are you talking about?
It's like balloon art. I don't know. It's like balloon art.
Wait, you take like a normal strand of Mardi Gras
beads. You break off however many I just listed. I just gave you the measurement per dimension.
17.
Yep. And then you twist it together, and then it makes like a cute little dog. Anyway, that was my craft.
I'm going to have to see to believe it, to be honest with you.
So I would try to sell my little dogs, and I got mollywopped by these people whose parents would take them to Michael's and, like, buy them all these cute little glass containers, and they would make potions. They'd literally fucking, like, flavor, like, do food coloring in milk or, like, color different water.
That's pretty cool, though.
It was so sick.
That's so cool.
With, like, little cork bottles. So they had all these cool little glass bottles, and they were, like, selling potions. And so I was always, like, so jealous of those kids because they got so much money. They got to get everything they wanted, and they had the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And so when I drink a Mad Dog, I'm like, this is my potion.
It's your potion of bravery.
Witchcraft and wizardry. Yeah. My invisibility potion.
Your potion of boldness.
Feather falling. I can jump after a Mad Dog. I just be hopping off skyscraper, sticking to landing.
It's a potion of major healing.
Yes.
So we didn't have a Renaissance fair in California, but we did have something in 4th grade called the Gold Rush. For a few weeks prior to the event, you would do basically trainings, I suppose is the only way to put it. You'd practice square dancing, you'd practice line dancing, and you would learn all about the California Gold Rush, which, that's why California is a state. They found gold in those hills. People from all over the country flooded over, basically like shotgunned our economy to the moon. And that's kind of how California became a state in 49, like the 49ers.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But the real crux of it is after we did all the lessons, we learned about the gold rush. The school would take us out to an awesome park nearby with a creek, and everyone would dress up in Western gear with flannels and handkerchiefs. And we would do the parents would come and watch, and we would do the square dancing with your partner.
That's so cute.
It was we did a big scavenger hunt around the park to find gold. Then you got to keep a little gold at the end of it, and then I believe, if I remember correctly, you could trade the gold for little gold rush trinkets that they had scattered around as well. It was really, really cool.
Field trips popped off, and oh my god. It's definitely, I'm going to acknowledge our privilege there because I know that we both went to public schools that had really cool field trips. I would get to go to all the National History Museums and the Air and Space Museum and Gettysburg and Luray Caverns, which is this huge stalactite cave place with a huge corn maze.
I think you just said the same word twice.
Thank you so much. I'm going to lock it in.
Stalactite, come on in.
Stalagmite, fall from the ceiling.
Stalactite, come from the floor.
God, it almost pierced me straight through my testicles.
Oh my goodness. Those are some cool field trips, though.
Yeah. I have a core memory from one of them.
What?
So, in 6th grade, I'm going to shout her out because Miss Free. I'm shouting her out because you shouted out that bad teacher you had for killing your band inspiration.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Yeager.
And yeah, I love oversized sweatshirts still to this day. It's one of my aesthetics. It inspired one of my Pride looks, the purple one. So I was wearing an oversized sweatshirt, and I like to have the sleeves go over my hands sometimes. It just makes me like the silhouette, elongated arms. I feel very cozy.
It's very anime, very like kawaii.
Very anime. Miss Free came up to me and she goes, "You don't want to do that. Like boys don't do that. Like you have to have it's very like feminine and embarrassing for you to not have your hands out of your sweatshirt. Like you don't let it go over your hands." And I remember looking at her and being like, "What are you talking about?" But it's like, it scarred me a little bit. So I like always thought about it from that. It's like when people say you have like a weird smile and then every time you laugh, you cover your mouth.
Yeah.
It was like that. I always thought about it. And now it's like a fuck you. Now I do it as often as possible. Literally leave.
Well, it's so comfortable to do so. It feels amazing.
It's cute and fun.
It's cute and fun. Like, yeah, I also love doing that when I wear oversized sweatshirts. I know it's like if you're going for fashion, you should have your hands out. I think
depending on what you're doing.
But if you're going for like an oversized, comfortable, like
if you're going for standard fashion,
yeah, going for standard fashion,
sure,
yeah. But I love having my sweatshirts over my hands because then it droops like this and go ba 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 ba.
Yeah, you can whack people with it.
I'd always hit my friends in the face with my droopy sleeves.
Yeah, and it's not just like there are a lot of things growing up where I was like, oh my god, I'm so different. But it's just because I was the only gay kid. Like every gay kid around the country had the same experience. Like everyone loves Evie. like everyone, like Willow Pill, her design challenge on Drag Race, one of the winners was a huge oversized sweatshirt that she wore, and she looked amazing. So it's so funny because like growing up, I'm like, there's no one like me. And then all these like really weird niche things, like every gay kid was individually coming up with around the country. Like, is that like
that is kind of insane?
So
yeah,
weird,
like a hive collective.
I know. You can't make that shit up.
No, with RuPaul as the hive mind,
as the mother,
as the mother. I meant to make a joke at the start of the podcast, but I couldn't find a way to slice it in, so I'm just gonna barge in with it.
Sure.
Can we put Subway Surfers up on the screen? Yeah, have you ever seen the reels where like you'll have a video below and on the top?
Like the attention span. Oh,
yeah. I think there's like slicing Subway Surfers at the top, so people actually watch
like
it.
Like ADHD people.
Yeah,
because you need like multiple screens at all times. Yeah, that's funny. No, actually, we'll put it on for now. The next 5 minutes of the podcast, you can watch Subway Surfers. It'll be our little graphics on either side, like smiling and then Subway Surfers going in. That's funny.
Is that kind of fun? 2 years ago at Coachella, we had some friends who were watching, it was Frank Ocean. They were watching Frank Ocean. Mm-hmm. And apparently he just wasn't that good, which shocking because everyone wanted to see him live for so long. He finally performed live. He was like, okay, weekend 1, and then dropped out weekend 2, which like, lame. Tomato. But our friends were just putting Subway Surfers up and watching the Subway Surfers instead of Frank Ocean as they're
so
at his concert. I know.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, I was not impressed by him at all.
It's just I get you have other stuff going on in your life. Like you're a human, you're allowed to be sad and upset. But also like you're at Coachella. Like people pay a lot of money to be there. It's like
people came just for him.
Like be a professional,
I mean, like not to say that I'm anywhere close to that scale, but I'm definitely getting to the point where I'm having to choose to do Divos over other things I would potentially rather do. Or not even rather, but like it's fun versus like fun with friends versus fun with work. It's just different. Bitch, turn it on for 2 hours. Like, and then he can afford to then jet off wherever he needs to be.
I know. Seriously.
Before and after. I just don't get it.
Jet in the morning of, literally. Perform, jet out right afterwards.
Just like it's training for all these people who like you've impacted and care about you and like I don't know. I think it's really lame.
And who gave him his platform in the first place? Like, I think it was just blatantly disrespectful to his fans, personally. But that's none of my business.
But who am I to say?
But that's none of my business.
Another thing that happened at Coachella was similar to that, like Subway Surfer. I think it was my first or second ever Coachella, put up Ness and Lucas's game. What is it called? Like Homeland?
Oh, Earthbound.
Earthbound. And I'd never seen gameplay of Earthbound, but it was on the screen for their whole set. I think it was the vibe of like, or maybe it wasn't her, HER. I think it was a different group. But
what is the gameplay of Earthbound? I actually have no idea.
It looks a lot like original Pokemon, like Green and Blue. And it's actually like a combat-based game like Pokemon where you fight like aliens and stuff.
Interesting.
So like PK Starstorm is like a move you select to try to beat the aliens.
And, so it's like an RPG game.
It's an RPG. Right?
Oh, interesting. I did not know that at all. Are they making new Earthbound games? I think it was just.
I don't think they play any. Yeah, I don't think they do it.
No, I don't think so either.
But it speaks to the power of visuals. I learned a little bit of Trick or Treat. They're just fucking fun.
They are so fun, dude.
You can put anything on that damn screen, and it's
People will love it
because it's huge. Like you know, like obviously you don't want to lose focus on your performance, but if you have any part of your number where you're like, this is neither here or there, shoot yourself shoving a cake in your face. I'm serious.
No, it fills the gaps in perfectly because you can go back and forth. And I don't think it detracts from the performance in front of you.
No.
Because then you can just like lock back in and be like, oh my God, I forgot this amazing thing is happening. So if you had like two cool platforms, it's almost like a reveal. It's like just another aspect to the performance that makes it exciting to watch. Except it's a perpetual reveal because you're always revealing as you switch back to the foreground.
No, seriously.
I think you should do visuals for everything.
I think Divos. I have a dream for a show. I'm going to talk about Divos for a second, but I don't want to talk too much about Divos this episode.
Whoa. You're going to talk about Divos?
Stop. Let me just say.
I
have a dream before the end of the year. Keep your eyes peeled. Once this season is done, I want to rent out a theater, and I want to get like 5 or 6 of my favorite drag friends, and I want to do like my 3 or 4 numbers I have the visuals for, like as a show, host the show, give my friends the chance to like make visuals, and like do a theater show as like my capstone for the year. Isn't that a cool idea?
That's really, really fun. Yeah. I'm sure there's actually tons of theaters around where we live, actually. I've passed some that you could totally rent out. Like,
I feel like it wouldn't even be that expensive.
No, I don't think so. And people rent out theaters for improv shows.
Oh my God.
So I think
I like improv. Actually, I did not like improv like in college. That's what like held me back for auditions. I was like, I can't fucking, this is so stupid. But then Gottmik went on Drag Race and said, isn't improv just talking? And that changed everything for me.
I know. That was a needless jab. I do also like improv. My point was like, I feel like improv doesn't make that much money. So it's like, if they can rent it, like anyone can rent it.
My dad told me one time when I was trying to rent out the pool by us for the Pride series, he's like, where did you get this fucking nerve to think that you can just rent out an entire pool? And I was like, well, I don't like, that's not how my brain works. I was just like, I want my drag to be as big as possible. So like, of course, why would I not rent out a pool?
Why would I not rent out a pool?
Like, of course, you rented out the boxing gym.
Obviously. Wait, what?
Like, you know, it's like the theaters too. It's like the gall of, can you rent out the theater?
Well, I think that's a bit more like commonplace to rent out a theater, though. Like, I think there's steps in place to do so.
Definitely, but it's still you need a little bit of nerve.
Still some gall for sure. Actually, whatever happened with the swimming pool? Did they ever get back to you?
So everything worked out for everything worked out for Pride. Period. It turned out amazing. But I was trying to rent out this amazing pool by where we live. It just feels very Olympic to me. I love Olympic pools. Like when I was traveling in Europe, the Munich one, the London one. We actually went to the London one together.
That was great.
I just love Olympic pools. Actually, just got a video of my little cousin. He just joined swim team and he's doing really well.
Oh,
it's really, really cute.
That's so fun. I love to see that.
But so I was trying to rent out this pool, but I had to go through the pool, and then there's like an LA Films department that had me fill out a portal, an application, another application, and then I had to submit this form. And then they're like, okay, it's like they were like, how many rigs are you gonna have? I was like, bitch, I have a DSLR. Like it was like so much. I think it's like for films, but it was just like too much. I just couldn't do it. And then
how many rigs are you going to have?
Literally, they're like, how do you need a parking lot? I was like, what? Please just let me go film. Like,
give me 1 hour, please.
Well, I was trying to be really official with the Pride series, but I think I went a little too official with that. Like, I should have just gone to the front desk and been like, hey, can I like film in the pool for an hour on this day?
Probably, yeah.
But whatever. Okay, but I was gonna ask. So visuals are like Divos, the future of Divos. I think if Zach was gonna do a number, and you could do anything for you, like you've seen what I do for visuals. It can be fucking anything. Like my theme for my last number's visuals was baking a cake.
I know.
So what would you want your visuals to be?
Honestly, what pops in my mind first, you know the vibe? It's kind of Sound of Music, where like you're in a big open landscape and your arms are out and you're spinning around in a circle. And there's that kind of like, not grainy filter, but sort of like a white film filter over the video.
Like retro a little bit, like sepia.
Oh yeah, a little bit sepia, a little bit retro, but it's more like a soft light. Just ethereal, yes, an ethereal filter. So I think it would just be me. I would start in like a beautiful field, spinning around and like in the desert, but slowly the visuals would get like more and more stupid. So it'd be like outside of Denny's, you know, that would be like in a pool.
And you're spinning every time.
I'm spinning every time. Going like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So it starts out, you know, you look at the visual. This is how I'm tracking my hypothetical number. Starts out, you're like, oh, okay, that's a cool visual. Like I take it in. Oh, it's doing different landscapes. How fun. Then you lock back into my beautiful performance because of course it's going to be beautiful.
Sure.
And then like a minute goes by and you're like, oh, I'll tap back into the visuals. And you look back and then all of a sudden I'm like on top of a dumpster, like twirling around. You're like, how did that happen? And then you just can't trust. You can't trust me.
Yeah. Then you have the part of comedy, which is shock.
Which is shock.
Half of comedy.
Exactly.
I love that. And what's crazy is I agree. I think visuals stupid is better because you either have to be like so glamorous it's obnoxious or you might as well go for stupid. But because of the scale of video, like how big it would be behind you, you would look glamorous. Like it would look cool. You know what I mean?
It probably would.
If you had a good camera, like you would look really cool, which is also the magic because your whole theme for your visuals can be stupid, but on the screen behind you,
it always looks cool.
It looks cool.
It always looks cool no matter what. It's kind of like, I can't think of a good example, but there's other instances of like film. Standing on a rock and like looking out in the distance, I think is impossible to like not look cool as you do it. If you have like a lower angle shot. So
like the holding Simba up on the rock.
Exactly. I think like it's in a similar vein. It's just impossible to not look cool as you do it. Maybe that was a bad analogy.
No, I agree. I was just thinking in my head, there's so many like like over the shoulder shot where you're like looking, you can see what they can see, or the Simba shot where you're like on the ground looking up,
or like the under the leg shot looking up and you're looking down like this.
Yes,
you see all the
silhouette
neck
of your
folds.
nipples. Yeah.
The silhouette of your nipples.
That's powerful.
Reflected against the sky. Yeah,
right.
I know. So
we just did this really cool hike in LA for the first time called the Culver Steps, and that silhouette of nipples made me think of this. They're like big steps. Hold on. Zach just gave a look of shock.
Shock.
So they're like big steps. Like I am a huge person and I was like reaching my legs up there and I saw this little ass dog. I'm like, this going up the steps. It's crazy.
I saw that dog.
The step is bigger than the dog. Like imagine hopping over something your size over and over and over and over indefinitely because you're a dog. You don't know when it's stopping.
It was insane. It was like the teeniest tiny little like I don't know breeds of dogs, but it was so. I think what it was doing it was going around the sides of the steps a little bit, like on the embankment. But like that is literally Mount Everest to that dog,
over and over
and over and over.
It's crazy.
That was hilarious. There's also like a little 10-year-old running up and down the steps as we were here like huffing and puffing and panting. And he was like just cruising up and down.
His mom was like, "Go get your energy out. I'll be back in 30 minutes," which is kind of hilarious.
No, that is kind of awesome. I had never seen LA from that vantage point before though. Like I'd been on the hills side. I've done some hikes up there to see LA from that distance. But I believe Baldwin Hills is that area, the kind of foresty area where the oil rigs are.
Yeah.
And it's right in the middle of Los Angeles. So we were there and you're able to see the entire LA basin. You saw all the hills, you saw all the way downtown. And then so far west and then south, you could see Marina Del Rey at the very end of it.
Yeah.
And then right where LSU is, kind of at Playa Vista.
LSU?
Or Loyola Marymount.
Oh my gosh, go Tigers.
But I had never seen Los Angeles from that central kind of like, it wasn't quite 360, but it was at least like 240.
I think a lot of people would forget about that hill if they were trying to make like a little map of LA.
I think they would.
But I love getting the different, we need to go to Griffith before you leave.
We do need to go Griffith, yeah.
But I love going to like high points in LA and then making yourself figure out like what's where. Mm-hmm. It really helps me like, because I'm like, I live in LA now. Like that's just, I live in LA. So I want to know like all the different areas. So I like making myself, test if I actually do or if I'm a poser.
I know. It's cool to look at the landmarks and be like, I know what that is. That is. Our roommate, Megan Lee, was like, is that Santa Monica? It was pointing to like Hollywood. Right. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Sweetie.
But buddy, like it's by the ocean. It's west of the 405. Come on now. I also love that area, the Baldwin Hills area, for two more reasons. I love the oil rigs. I think they're so funny. Just plop down in the middle of Los Angeles, some oil rigs, fracking.
The fracking.
The fracking. But also, if anyone's familiar with Los Angeles, the Culver City area, it's very charming. It's wonderful. Culver City backs up to it. So when I'm driving kind of on the edge of Culver City and then the Baldwin Hills, like recreational area, I always get this vibe of like, oh, I'm at the edge of town right now. Because the town is ending. Now it's just wilderness. And like sometimes there's a pumpkin patch right there as well in October. So I drive by and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm at the edge of Los Angeles.
The suburbs.
As far as it goes. There's nothing else beyond. But then you look at the map, there's like, oh no, it was like 50 miles of LA beyond this area.
Well, and that's why I like driving to Manhattan Beach, because you go through there. So like I feel like I'm being transported to this little beach town, even though it's really just not that far.
It's not that far at all, really.
Okay, I think it's time for bit of the week. Are you ready?
Yes.
I have it. I've been feeling a little annoying recently. I have so much work that I've been doing, and so I've needed a bit that just like just teases my friends. When my friends have been calling me recently, they've been answering the phone, and the way I like to answer is say it's a Tuesday. I'll answer the phone. I'll be like, on a Tuesday? You're gonna call me on a Tuesday, like out of the blue, like unprompted, like didn't check in with my team, nothing? And they're like, I just want to know like where you want to get dinner tonight. I was like, oh, but it's Tuesday. Like, and I love doing it with my sister, especially. Like, she'll call. And I'm like, Marguerite, it's a Sunday. Like, what are you doing calling me on a Sunday? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, it's the Lord's Day, Marguerite. I could have been in church. Like, are you for real? Like, this is kind of rude, Marguerite. Like,
on a Wednesday? On hump day?
On hump day.
On hump day? You're going to call me on a hump day?
I could have been inches deep.
I could be getting dipped down at this moment.
Right now.
And you're calling me on a hump day?
On a hump day?
On a Thursday? On the day before the weekend? I also love answering the phone like, hello?
Yeah.
Like, although there is caller ID, I know who's calling. I answer it. Hello? Like, both implying, who is this? And why are you calling?
Or when you call someone and then like too quick into the conversation, you're like, I have to go. So like, you called me. I was like, I have to go.
I'm busy. I have to go. The world does not revolve around you, Missy Lou.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
That's a good bit of the week.
Yeah.
That's a good bit of the week.
Yeah, it was kind of 4 bits of the week, but you get it.
I think the bit is phone call fuckery.
Right. And for the audio episode, it's right on theme. Okay, educate this straight. I just want to keep it fast and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Vaseline Alley? Wait, I've been doing too many sexual ones. Hold on.
I was gonna say, is that a butthole thing?
Stop. No, it's not. It's not.
Look at me and say it's not.
It's not. My educate the straight, I want to explain to you what it is like as a queer or gay person trying to figure out what your first crush is, because you don't know it's a crush because society has told you that's not what is supposed to be happening. At least when I grew up, times are changing. The youth, I mean, quite frankly, if you're not gay is in, straight is out.
Gay is in. The tables have turned. I have it.
Honestly, now. Gay is getting stale. You better be non-binary. So my first crush, looking back, was during Free Willy. Jesse James something, the main actor in Free Willy, the little kid. I was like in 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade. Look it up while I tell you this story.
He is hot.
He just pulled up a picture of the whale. So the main actor, like, there's like this like kid. He's supposed to be like 12 or something. I don't know. I was like 8 or 9, and I was watching the movie, and I was like enamored by him. I was like, "What? Who is that? Like, he looks so cool. He looks awesome." And I was like, "I have to be his friend somehow. Like, I like literally have to be his friend. Like, he's so cool, and like, I just want to be him so bad. Like, I want to be his friend so bad." And so I became obsessed. I was like looking up all these like pictures of the movie. I was like, who is this? Who is this? And then I searched up and I realized that Free Willy was filmed like 13 years prior to when I was watching the movie. So I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, like he's grown up. Like he's old. And I remember sitting at the bottom of my stairs crying. And my mom's like, why are you crying? And I was like, I'm never gonna get to be his friend. Like, and I showed her a picture of him grown up, and he was like all tatted. He was like totally different. I was like, "What is this?" Like, my new friend that I'm obsessed with, like, he's gone. Like, I can't believe. So I was like mourning like the death of my crush, which I didn't know it was my crush. I just like I couldn't understand why I was so obsessed with becoming his friend. But I was like, "He's gone." Like, Mom, he's gone. She's like, "Okay." Like, she's like, "Yeah, he grew up." I was like, "No, you don't get it. Like, I had to be his friend. Like, I was gonna become his best friend." And she's like, what are you talking about?
That's really funny.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had a crush on him.
Oh my gosh. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Those are the kids who are obsessed with like their pop star idol and like want to marry them one day, but like it's an adult and a child.
I know. Well, I thought it was a child, but I didn't quite understand movies can come out before my time.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
The world started when Divos was born.
No, it's fine. You're still sitting in the chair like you're in drag, like with the back straight and the
I'm
legs
like used
out.
to it.
I know. It can't be a podcast without the stands. But that was going to educate the straights, not knowing why you're attracted to somebody.
Well, it's just like hilarious because you're so confused. Do you want to be them or do you want to
Be in them.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Don't worry, I'm educated enough to say it.
Wow.
Should we do our Twink Twank Twunks of the week?
Let's do it, audio listeners. These are all gonna be for you.
All right, my Twink of the week is the sound when you drop a marble into a glass of water and it goes plunk.
Yes.
Let's try our best to replicate it. You go first.
Wait.
Oh my god.
No, let's try again.
Wet your lips. They're like so dry. So much better. Okay, here we go. Have you ever played the game where like your friends make a noise and you have to try to replicate the noise with your mouth? It's like the game is like you drop a book and then you have to try to make the sound with your body. So you like the book is like, and then you have to go like slap yourself really hard to try to. It's a very fun game.
Actually, I've never played that, but
oh really? It's
sounds
hilarious. Okay, my Twink of the week is hiccups.
Yes.
oh, that is good.
Completely useless, a little embarrassing, but also kind of cute.
That is really, really good.
Hiccups.
All right, my Twink of the week is a Southern accent.
Oh.
Like,
Twang.
howdy, y'all. Y'all come back now. You here? Love it.
Baby girl, I made you a little bit of a pie that I'm going to send home with your family. Yeah, you make sure you heat it up a little bit before you eat it. You don't want no cold pie, baby. But it's going to be delicious. A little bit of ice cream on top, and I tell you, it will cure anything. My Twink of the week is sneezes. Like, it's just kind of like it's a little gross. Like, you're projecting, like, stuff that shouldn't be in the world into the world. But there's a correct way to handle it. There's a wrong way to handle it. It can be very twink depending on the situation, how you deal with the situation, and how you do it. So, twank.
My twunk, it's a little bit gross. A wet, juicy fart.
Oh,
Is that bad?
do it. Ew, I hate that.
For the record, that was not an actual fart. I did the prank where you put your hand to your cheek, and then just blow.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so twunk. It's like, was that a fart?
Unless you wanted it to be a fart. And then Zach just ripped absolute ass.
Oh, heavens. The microphone is so stinky. But it's so twunk because you're like, was that a fart? Did you just poop yourself? Is that going to itch when it dries? Like, it's just
Is that
gross.
going to itch when it dries? So we have twink hiccups, we have twank sneezes, and the twunk variation of auditory things that happen from your mouth is the burp.
It is the burp.
Can you burp on command? I can't burp.
I cannot. I was always jealous of kids who could.
So I didn't know. So I wasn't neither here nor there about burps until I watched Tana Mojo's podcast, and she was telling me how gross she was by burps. And then I was like, you're right. It's like, it's essentially a sneeze, but it's from your mouth. And it's just like disgusting. You're like projecting like food particles into the air. It's too much for me. And so burps are my twunk of the week. I also don't burp. I won't burp in front of people. You can stifle burps. You don't have to do it.
You don't. They're so satisfying.
Ew. So is nutting, but you're not going around nutting in front of everyone. Oh my god. The look that he's giving is absolutely dastardly.
Unless.
Is that it?
Is that it? Is that all the time we have for it?
Well, happy almost Pride Month. And audio listeners, I hope that you feel, we didn't need to check in because this was all for you.
It was all for you. Tune into our next episode for our visual viewers.
Yeah.
Only video, no audio.
It's going to be completely silent. We're miming.
we have whiteboards and we only communicate by writing on the whiteboards to each other. And that's it.
And if you enjoy it, for anyone that did watch the video, if you enjoyed the stickers, we have the Patreon for you where they are available. We send them to your door every month. At the end of the season, we're going to open up the shop. So if there's one that you missed, you really like, you can go buy it. But we hoped you liked our little kind of animated, but mostly just cropped in and out
with a little bit of Subway Surfers.
We'll put our socials for the pod as well as for our personal socials on the screen. So you can check us out if you love us and you miss us when we aren't posting. But I think this is it.
Thank you so much for tuning in, audio listeners. This episode, again, It was for you. You make us.
We're gonna give you a kiss goodbye now. Ooh.
Ew, 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 ew. Ew.
Gotta go!
That was disgusting. Bye.